Hello?
Well, hello, and welcome to Jammin Jukebox Radio Show. I am your host, DJ Delta Dawn, and it is Hump Day, folks. We are 2 days away from the weekend, and I am loving it because it's been quite the week already. And so I am ready for the weekend. I'm ready for warmer temperatures. How about you? I bet you are. Tonight, we have a guest that I am really excited about because he is a rocker. And I love rock and roll music. I love rock music, and I love that hard, heavy metal sound. And tonight, our guest, he fits the bill on all accounts. His name is Rick Rocker, and I'd like to welcome him now. Hello, Rick.
I'm doing all right. Thank you for having me.
You're so very welcome. Thank you for being here. I wanted to have you on the show tonight simply because when I heard your music, I was so impressed, and I was like, that's a really good sound, and I felt like the listeners just needed to know who you are. So welcome aboard. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you for having me on the show. Glad you like the music.
Oh, most definitely. Now, I want to talk about how you got started. I mean, is music something that's kind of been a part of your life from the word go, or is it something that developed a little bit later on for you?
Pretty much my sister's been singing since she was a kid, and music's always been around, but until more like high school, late high school, when I got to like junior year of high school, I started picking up the guitar, and I just, I joined the jazz band late senior year, and really that's the only time in my whole high school year that I really had any time to like stand out and do anything and just like be myself. And it was pretty much what made the whole high school highlight for me. And pretty much actually before that, I actually I started writing poetry. I was actually very good at writing poetry in English class, and it was like my favorite thing to do, but I never really took that into account as to be like a songwriter or anything like that. I was just good at it. But I think that definitely played like a precursor before I started writing songs or even playing an instrument.
Well, I'm very glad that you pursued that because I can tell you what I've heard so far is just really good stuff, and it's so relevant to today, but yet it's got that classic rock feel to it, which is, I just dig that. I grew up in the classic rock 80s hair band era, and I was really kind of sad in a way. I mean, I was excited when alternative hit the ground running, but I was kind of sad because alternative music kind of pushed, all that traditional rock and roll music kind of off to the side. And so it's so good to have somebody like yourself out there putting out some really good music that is not only relatable, but it's relevant to today. And so now, was rock and roll or rock music the genre that you chose, or did it kind of choose you?
I think it chose me. I mean, the first band, the rock band I really got into was actually Bon Jovi. My mom just threw a CD. It's like, I don't even think she really liked them that much. And she just like, hey, I know this band. Yeah, listen to them. So I got the Greatest Hits album, the Crossroads album, and I just popped it on. And it's funny, the first time I listened to it, I honestly didn't like it. I remember listening to Runaway and just be like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
Like I never really listened to classic rock or delved into it at that age. It was even, I think, at the beginning of high school or late middle school or something like that. So I really didn't even know what rock and roll was, So, but the next day, I turned it on and I couldn't stop listening to it. So I was officially initiated, I guess. And also, Led Zeppelin was a huge one too. My uncle got me into that later on a trip to Greece, family trip.
Well, I must tell you, you've
stuff.
got some really cool family members. You really do, because they like all the same bands that I do. I mean, and, you know, as a parent myself, I remember the first time introducing my kids to some of the stuff I listened to growing up, and they were kind of like you. They're like, what? You know, what is this stuff? And but now it's kind of funny because, like, Bon Jovi, for example, is a band that I think it's kind of become second generational because, you know, my kids like them as much as I did when I was their age listening to them, you know, as an 80, one of the biggest fans of the 80s. And so it's just kind of neat that it's kind of taken on a life of its own through my kids. But I'm really glad. It's hard not to like Bon Jovi. It really is. and
yeah.
Would you consider them, you know, since you listen to their music and you really got into them almost immediately, do you consider them to be, you know, one of your musical influences in terms of your music?
Yeah, definitely. That's probably my major influence. I mean, Zeppelin's the second top. They're both up there. Those are like the top two for me. Then like Green Day, U2, Alanis Morissette, let's see, Guns N' Roses, Journey. I just recently got into Rage Against the Machine. Like, there's so much music I haven't listened to that I love, you know. And I mean, Metallica was the only metal band I ever listened to that I really like. Scratch that. Iron Maiden I got into too. Concert. My uncle actually, I didn't even know the band at the time too. This was like a while ago, and I saw them at the Garden, and I was just like, in a week I learned like a bunch of their songs. Like, all right, you know, at first like, this guy sounds like an opera singer, but you know, I got into it, and the concert was phenomenal. They put on such a great show. And same, I actually got to see Metallica too at Nassau Coliseum, and it was really great. They were awesome. So I definitely have some metal influence too that I don't really up front usually tell everybody. But if you listen to a song like Lady in Red, which is on my promo CD, which is currently only available at live shows, it's definitely the heavier side of my music. Even though it's relatively pop, but I definitely like to throw in a bunch of different flavors from every kind of band, and just mix and match to keep it interesting for myself. I don't want to pigeonhole myself per se, even though I am Rick Rocker. I do like to play anything that, you know, that I find interesting or that I just love to play and it sounds good to me. I'll play it, whether it's a soft acoustic ballad or heavy metal song.
Well, and that's the thing I love about your music is because you can tell you're not boxed into one particular sound or genre. And that's the beauty of, you know, indie music today, because indie artists can really be as creative as they want to be. The sky truly is the limit. It's not, you know, you don't have to pick a genre and stay in it. You know, you can, even though you're Rick Rocker, you know, rock has many different meanings. It can be pop rock. It can be soft rock. It can be heavy metal. You know, rock can be defined a lot of different ways, which gives you a lot of versatility as an artist, and that's a great thing. I mean, and some of these artists that you've named, that you've listened to, that you really dig, I mean, they're all diverse in terms of, you know, their sound and you know, what they produce, and they're all phenomenal, by the way. So I think it's really cool that you like bands from yesterday, per se, that are still relevant and popular today, but and still have an incredible influence over, you know, music of today, without a doubt. Now let's talk a little bit about your music and your song "Spend the Night," which is currently a free download that you're offering to fans, listeners, and talk about how that song came about. What was the influence behind it, or the inspiration rather, and just how it came about for you.
Okay. Well, the song, pretty much, it's a straightforward love song. It was written about a girl that I went out with a few years ago now, and pretty much the song is a combination of pretty much wanting to just be myself and also making it with a girl. So it was kind of, it was kind of a mix of both, I think, because at the time when I wrote it, I kind of felt down about not having a girl.
Yeah.
So and I think the memory of me missing her and wanting to still be with her kind of just worked its way into the song, so it became this hopeful love song, live your life kind of song, you know? And
yeah, and I, by the way, we played it on our show. We featured it here quite a bit. It's also running, it's now in rotation on our radio station, and we've gotten some really good feedback on the song, and people really like it. And I think it's because it's got that love song feel, but it's rocker feel. I mean, the song has much to offer, and it's just a really good song. I don't know any other way to describe it. It's a really good song. And now I know you've got some other, like clips of songs that are they songs that you're currently working on, and that's just like kind of a preview of what they're going to sound like, or do you have them? Are you working on the EP or anything?
Yeah, actually, I have the whole album is recorded. I have 10 songs, and I've planned to release it self-titled. The album Spend the Night. It's going to be released later this year. I'm playing a big show April 5th. I'm putting together myself in Astoria, Queens, my hometown. It's I got a bunch of local bands that are pretty much the biggest local bands, including my sister's band. They're called L Train. She's a phenomenal singer. She got me started, and her and her boyfriend are playing like the leaders of the band, and they're going to be playing the show too. But pretty much that's going to be the catalyst to more shows that I play. I have another one April 20th, and I plan to book, steadily building up to a tour and hopefully release the album later in this year, depending how things pick up, sooner or later. But definitely by the end of the year, I look to have a tour and release the album so I could really, start the tour with the album feeding the fire for the tour.
That sounds awesome, and it sounds like the rest of your 2013 is going to be jam-packed full of, between doing your touring and your performances and releasing your album. I mean, my gosh, you've got a busy few months ahead, I would dare say.
Yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, it's gonna take a lot of work, and pretty much right now, getting everything together. Also planning to work on a music video for Spend the Night. I know a few great cameramen and getting a crew together, so look for that to be released hopefully within the next 3 months if I can, sometime within then.
Have you got some ideas about how you want the video to go currently, or how you want the video to lay out?
I definitely have a few ideas. I mean, I tend to, like, the first line of the song is roaming around the streets at night, and that was pretty much written at the time. I would always, as a stress relief, I would just go out jogging, and I didn't really care where I went or how I got there, whatever, just like I just wanted to run, just to keep my sanity. And pretty much that line just came so naturally, because that's just something I do all the time. And I think I'll probably implement that something in the video, maybe just a lot of memories from the past, kind of reminiscent in the song. There's a lot of ideas. I gotta think of it, Dawn. Definitely gotta do my homework on that. It's just it's all getting really, it's hitting the fan hard right now, and everything's really. I'm excited because the big thing for me a year ago, actually, almost a year now, in May, I recorded the entire album. So these songs, I've had them for a while. I'm actually even working on a second album as we speak. But pretty much those songs haven't seen the light of day since I've been really putting a backing band together, a really solid one. So now I have a really solid backing band, and I really believe this is a great time and that all the pieces are coming together as far as promotion and just music outlets and everything like that. So I definitely believe this is a great time to, start playing some more shows and just hit the pavement, get my name out there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And it's happening for you, whether you realize it. It's already happening. and now I want to know, what was it like for you the first time you performed, as Rick Rocker? I mean, because to get out there and perform music that you love, that you've written, is a far cry from, performing in your jazz band in high school. So what was that feeling like for you?
Well, I wasn't always Rick Rocker. Pretty much, it actually just started, my friend actually brought it up to me, who lives right by me, and he's like, you were Rick, I have an email that was, created, way back. I don't even remember. It might have been, it was probably in the beginning of middle school or maybe somewhere around there. I don't even remember when I got a computer. Honestly, it was that long ago. But pretty much he's like, oh, you were Rick Rocker even before you played a guitar or an instrument or anything like that. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, oh, you had Rick Rocker 7 at yahoo.com, whatever, and it sounded stupid at first, but it just kind of stuck, and I've been Rick Rocker ever since. And I'm a simple guy. I'm straight to the point, and I have no problem with it. It just works. So
it does. It really does. It fits for the kind of music that you're making. I really, Rick Rocker. That's so cool. I mean, I could just. I was kind of looking on Reverb Nation, and I was tooling through some of the pictures that of you, and there's a picture of I guess your logo for your name, Rick Rocker, and it is the coolest thing. I mean, I could just see that being made into T-shirts and all, album cover. My gosh, it's a really cool logo. So yeah, I think the name fits. I really do, and I think it's going to take you far, because the name Rick Rocker is a name that people will remember, and that's the key, especially if you're, an artist and you're trying to get your name out there anyway. It's just catchy, and people will go, yeah, that song by Rick Rocker. It just works. So that's a great thing. So now you're starting to work on your second album. I mean, your second album. That is. I know that's got to be exciting for you. And with the first one, you're hoping to get the first one out later in the year. What kind of plans do you have for the second album?
Well, the second album right now, it's happening, as I speak. I have a few songs the first song that's really gonna, I think, set the tone for the album is called "Set Me Free," and it's definitely, I think, gonna set the tone for the rest of the album as far as the overall tone of it's going to be more like just self-expression and just being yourself to the fullest and not caring what anybody else thinks about it, pretty much. And, hold on, let's get the first album out there first.
That's right, that's right. Well,
I don't even want to talk about the second one yet. That's so in the works, People,
hey, that's okay.
People need to know the first one first.
No, that's okay. You just save that, because, of course, when you get ready to release your second album, then we'll have you back on the show so we can talk about that. But we won't jump the gun, believe me. Now, I want to know, in terms of your songs that you've written, have you ever taken any of the poetry that you wrote early on and turned it into a song? Or used any of it for any of your song lyrics, or has any of your poetry inspired certain songs that you've written?
I think the poetry really just helps me put it on paper before I could really, work it in with the music. Because what happens with my songs, usually I just play on the guitar, and then if I hear it and it inspires me to write something, then I usually just flow with the melody first before I implement the words. But the thing with this poetry, because it's like it's a yes, but it's technically not. Like it's a yes and no answer, because I actually do use poetry to just really vent all my emotions onto the paper before I even feel like if I really need to just vent it all out, then I'll just put it on the paper. And then later on, usually those words are very similar. They'll end up very similar to my songs, or they'll have the same kind of drift, because it's still the emotion is relevant. And it's just I needed to do that, again, for like my sanity, pretty much as a songwriter musician. Like I need to be a musician, It's one of those things where I just have to do it to survive. And it's really, I would say, though, it's safe to say I do definitely my most of the songwriting based off the music, though. Like I like to hear the melody, and usually the melody is really what inspires me to just, let the emotions come out. I need something that sounds really good, or if it hits me a certain way, it doesn't even have to sound necessarily like anything in particular. It just has to trigger an emotion within me, or just make me think about something, or anything. It could be anything.
And now, as as you continue on, and this year continues to unfold for you, and great big things are going to be happening, which I predict. Everything's going to kind of, I think, pick up speed really quick for you once you start getting out there and performing more, and as you release your album. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now in doing all this?
Madison Square Garden.
And there was no hesitation when you said that either. I like that.
That's
well,
the goal.
you are in New York. I mean, how far are you from Madison Square Garden?
How far am I? I'm extremely far. I am extremely far. But
that's okay,
the goal.
because when you get ready to play Madison Square Garden, it won't take you no time to get there. I can assure you. You'll have your own private jet and everything else, So that's a no-brainer.
I'll walk there if I have to. I'll walk there. I'll get there somehow.
Yeah, there you go. I don't think you're going to have to walk, though. What do you think?
Like I said, it's all about just, playing the music. I'll take, wherever it takes me, I'm going.
Right.
But that's the goal.
Well, that's awesome, and you're awesome, and I really love your music, and I'm looking forward to the album release, and and just hearing all of it in its entirety, because what I've heard of it so far, even the little snippets of a few of the other songs, it's going to be a great album, and it's and of course we will do everything here to promote it for you when it's out in its entirety, and we'll be playing many of the songs off of it on our show. So
thank you.
I want to wish you the very best as you continue on in your journey this year of getting your music out there, and like I said, we'll do everything we can to help that along. But before we close today, I want to play your song, Spend the Night, for the audience, because I love the song, and I think it's got lots and lots of potential, and I really think it's going to be a huge success for you. So thank you so very much for being with us. We really appreciate your time, and we'd love to have you back on at a later date to kind of catch up and find out where things are for you. And, of course, any new music you get, just send it our way, and we'll get it out there for you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Dawn. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so very much. Same here, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too, Dawn. Have a good night.
All right, take care. All righty, bye-bye. All right, you're in for a real treat now. We're going to play Rick Rocker's song off of his soon-to-be-released album of the same name, Spend the Night. Enjoy.
And every now and then I see her face.
And Spend the Night, and he will have his album out in the next few months, and as soon as it drops, you will be sure to hear it from us. We'll be playing more of his releases from that album moving forward, and look very, very forward to it. We want to thank him for being our special guest tonight, and also thanks to all of you for tuning in. If you're brand new to our program, we welcome you aboard, and we hope that you will be back again in the future. And so with that, I'm going to wrap and hope that you all enjoy the rest of your evening. And we will be right back here again real soon. Take care, all, and good night.
Tonight's show has been brought to you by One Taste of Main Street Cake Shop, baked from scratch, custom-made cakes and cupcakes, and you'll be hooked. Every cake is made to order with only the finest and freshest ingredients. This is no ordinary bakery. Cakes are never pre-made. Main Street Cake Shop is in demand, having provided cakes and cupcakes for numerous prestigious events, bridal fairs, and venues. Owned and operated by April Murray, she has garnered many awards for not only her exquisite cake designs, but also for their incredible taste. If you're looking for a cake for any occasion, or cupcakes in a variety of flavors, then Main Street Cake Shop is the place. Visit them on the web at mainstreetcakeshop.com. Thanks for listening to tonight's show. You can connect with Jammin Jukebox Radio Show on Twitter at Jammin Jukebox or on Facebook at Jammin Jukebox Radio Show. Check out our website at thejamminjukebox.com. Also, follow us on Blog Talk, where you will be always up to date on every episode as we add it. Each episode is available for immediate download upon the conclusion of each broadcast, and as always on iTunes. Thank you for joining us.